Hi, I'm Andre and I'm a black nerd. So over this past Thanksgiving weekend, Nickelodeon aired two nostalgic type of specials, a Double Dare reunion and a Legends of the Hidden Temple TV movie. As some of you know, I was part of the promotional team for both of these events. You might have saw me in the audience of the Double Dare reunion, or you may have seen my tweets talking about the premiere of the Legends of the Hidden Temple movie and also doing a meet and greet at the Legends of the Hidden Temple booth at VidCon. I wasn't planning on making a video review about either of these things, but you guys asked for it, so therefore I will give it to you because I actually have good things to say about both for different reasons. So starting with the Double Dare reunion, it was the 30th anniversary reunion special of Double Dare. They brought back host Mark Summers as well as Robin, his assistant, and Harvey, the announcer. And of course, they brought back the classic Double Dare choruses like the big giant mouth you slide down, the big nose that you pick out of to get that flag, that giant hamster wheel. They even brought back original cast members from all that to be contestants, as well as adding millennials to the group, people who grew up on Double Dare when they were kids, now being able to play the game as adults in a nightclub where people are watching and drinking. It was done for Nick at Night, not Nickelodeon, so it was able to play for a more mature audience. They were able to say and do some things in the special that you probably would not be able to do on the classic Nickelodeon show. Thanks, Lori Beth Denberg, for that. So it knew the target audience it was aiming for. It wanted to give the nostalgia of Double Dare to the people who grew up with it, who are now adults or young adults. Like the original television show, you got the opening challenges, you got the physical challenges, the question and answer rounds. They even had the final round, but in this version, both teams got to do the final round, and the winner was the team who was able to do the final round the fastest. And they also showed classic clips from Double Dare, some little montages of Double Dare events of the past. My particular favorite was the montage of the prizes that he used to give away on the old shows. They had like trips to space camp, the Garfield telephone, an old portable television, all stuff that's probably in a landfill right now. There were no actual prizes in this game. These people just wanted to play Double Dare to play Double Dare. Their prize was this tiny little store-bought trophy that just said Double Dare Champions on it. They also were doing this thing called the Double Dare Challenge. You can still do it online, I believe. There's a website for it. It's basically where you just take a pie of whipped cream and just put it in your face. Overall, it was just so awesome to see Double Dare happen again, and it was just obviously sweet to see these Double Dare challenges done again, to see them done by people who grew up on the show or cast members of all that. It was just a fun special. Right now it's just a special, but I would not be surprised if this is kind of a test to see if people would want to see a millennial Double Dare happen on like TheSplat or something like that, which I say go for it. Do this show again for an older audience, a millennial Double Dare. I don't know how else to call it. I know this should have a better name than that, but that's all I can refer to it now as, is millennial Double Dare. So the special was neat. It knew exactly what people liked about the original series and just did a nice nostalgic throwback while still catering to the audience that grew up with it. That's a very nice way of dealing with referential material from the past and bringing it to present day. Doing it a completely different way, but also kind of effective, was the Legends of the Hidden Temple TV movie. Honestly, I probably watched more Legends of the Hidden Temple when they did reruns on it on Nickelodeon Games and Sports. Remember Nick Gas, that channel? So when we first heard that Legends of the Hidden Temple was coming back, people thought it was coming back as a game show, but then we soon realized it was coming back as an original TV movie that was going to air on Nickelodeon and TheSplat. In this version of Legends of the Hidden Temple is actually a theme park, and 3 kids go to check it out. One of the kids is super excited about the theme park, while the others are just kind of hanging around. But eventually some mishaps occur and they actually end up inside the Hidden Temple, where they meet Olmec, get his story, and they have to go through the Hidden Temple in order to escape and survive. Now, let me just say that it is a TV movie. It is done like many TV movies. Have you ever seen a TV movie on Lifetime or a Hallmark Christmas TV movie? It's in that same vein. But there's one thing I can say that this TV movie does exceptionally well. It's using the original source material. There are so many references from the original Legends of the Hidden Temple game in this movie. Olmec has returned, and he's voiced by D. Bradley Baker, who voiced Olmec in the old television show. And man, you just get the nostalgic feels the moment Olmec starts speaking. I loved Olmec. I always thought Olmec was awesome, and to see him again in this movie and to hear him voiced again by D. Bradley Baker was so awesome. And guess who runs the theme park? Kirk Fogg, who was the host of the Legend of the Hidden Temple game show back in the day. In both of the cases of Olmec and Kirk Fogg, it would have been super easy for Nickelodeon or anyone else who would have done this property to put celebrities in those places. They could have had a celebrity voice for Olmec. They could have had a celebrity play the owner of the theme park because it's a smaller role. But instead, they said, no, we're going to go with the original voice, with the original TV host. That's respect to the original source material, and I like that. Everything, I mean almost every element of this movie is somehow an adaptation of the original game show. If you are a fan of the game show, there's more than likely going to be a bunch of times that you're watching this movie going, oh, I remember that, oh, I remember that, oh, I remember that. You see the t-shirt, you see the helmet, the steps of knowledge, all of the animals that were the different teams in the show, they're all represented in this movie as actual animals. So you see a red jaguar, you see a purple parrot, you see silver snakes, blue barracudas. There's even a green monkey that becomes like the animal sidekick to this trio of kids. All of the dangers and challenges that the kids have to go through in the temple are reminiscent to things from the show as well, such as going across the raft or going across the rope to get across from one side to the other, buttons that you have to press to open up doors, Medusa, the temple guards, finding different halves of the pendant to put them together and give them back to Olmec. All of that is in this movie. And in one of the funniest gags in the whole movie, yes, the kids have to put together the shrine of the silver monkey and they don't know how to do it. This was always a common joke with the game show where it's literally 3 pieces of a statue you gotta put together, and for some reason kids can never do it. So the same thing happens in this movie. They even do a SpongeBob SquarePants type joke where they keep trying to put the silver monkey together, they keep doing it wrong, and then one of the kids is like, how long is this gonna take? And it literally cuts to 4 hours later. Even though it's a ridiculous explanation, they even figure out a way to have to force the kids to run back through the temple in 3 minutes to return the pendant, just like in the game show. And they even had a subplot where people were trying to break into the temple, where they put an explosive on one of the temple doors to try to blow it up to open it up. And then the explosives has a countdown clock before it explodes, and the countdown clock is also the same amount of time as the run, and the display of the countdown clock looks exactly like the same font that they use for the countdown clock in the show. That's pretty crazy. That's something you didn't have to do, but they did it. It just proves that whoever wrote and put this movie together either had a vast knowledge of the TV series or definitely did their research about the original game show to put all those elements for people to catch in the movie. And that alone is impressive. When we've seen so many reboots and remakes not be even close to what the original thing was, that a TV movie was able to pull it off and pull it off a number of times, that was pretty impressive. As far as the rest of the movie goes, like I said, it's straight up TV movie. This is the perfect movie that you would put on like Netflix. The CGI is what it is, the acting is what it is, the production is what it is. But I gotta give respect to the 3 kids in this movie because they're actually not that bad. They're not annoying it by any means. I didn't really respect their acting throughout the movie. I was just like, okay, it is what it is. But then right after the movie ended, they showed an episode of that show, Henry Danger. I watched like 5 minutes of that, and I was like, okay, yeah, no, I respect the acting of these kids. But yeah, man, I have to say I was thoroughly impressed for this to be a complete reimagining of the original game show, and the fact that it's a movie based on a game show, there was actually some decent things in it. It kind of makes me want Nickelodeon to make more movies based on their older shows. I would love to see a Nick Arcade movie. Like if they could make a Nick Arcade TV movie in the same vein of this, I'm all about it. Have Phil Moore be the owner of an arcade. Mikey is like the mascot of the arcade. Maybe the kids get trapped inside the arcade and have to battle Mongo on the wizard level just like in the game. Like there's so many possibilities with a Nick Arcade movie. What other shows would you like to see come back as either a reunion or as a adapted TV movie like they did with this? Nick Arcade TV movie, All That reunion where they actually do sketches like the original All That. That's my contribution. Thumbs up this video, and if you're new here, clickety-click that subscribe button and also ring that bell so you know about all the future videos I post. I love you like a play cousin. I'm Audi 5000, chain chomp yelp.